Welcome to the 2021 Business Summit final day, Friday, sunshine, you name it. We are here for it. Heather Dowdy by Heather Dowdy Photography is our workshop instructor today. We're doing a bit of a deep dive into social media photography and tips and tricks you can do to capture your own products, your own behind the scenes, your own profile for Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, you name it. You'll be able to carry these tips that Heather shares with you across your platforms. So make notes, and if you miss it, you can always watch it again. That being said, this business summit is brought to you in partnership with the Peterborough Chamber of Commerce and Peterborough and the Kawarthas Economic Development. We work hard to bring this event to you every year. Last year, we started partnership with it. It's a great partnership. Of course, both organizations have lots of resources for entrepreneurs, small business. We are here for you, and this event is free. And it is free to attend, of course, with the support of our sponsors. Sponsors like the Business Development Bank of Canada, Nexicom, Microwage Peterborough Whitby. Please check them out online, give them a shout out. Supporting organizations, we are grateful. That being said, Heather Dowdy is going to share her screen, and I'm going to turn it right over to the expert. Heather, I can't wait to see what you have to say.
Hi everyone. Good morning. It is so nice to see you all. Happy Friday. I hope that your week has been amazing. I am going to share my screen right now. So I'm here this morning to talk about DIY product photography. Oh my, right? Everyone's kind of like, ooh. Okay. So first of all, I want to say thank you so much to everybody for showing up today. I know the weather's really nice, so I appreciate you being here. I'm excited to spend some time. And I want to thank the Chamber for having me. I'm so grateful for that. And for hosting this incredible week-long extravaganza for all of us. The Chamber rocks, and I am really proud to be a member, as we all are, I'm sure. So let's do this, people. My first slide, I need you all to absorb it. A picture is worth 1,000 words. It has never been truer than right this minute. We are not allowed to go out and go shopping, and we all have businesses. So right now, a picture is worth every word that you can type into a screen. Okay, so it's not a stress point. Don't feel stressed about that. It's just something that should live in the back of your mind. All right. So the first thing I want to tell you is, what would you say if I showed up at your business, if I actually could, and I said to you, I'm going to bring on a team member. It's going to work for you. They're going to work 24 hours a day. They're going to work 365 days of the year without stopping. They're never going to go on holidays. They're never going to have a sick day. They're never going to take any time off. They're going to go out into the world. They're going to interact with your target audience, your ideal clients. They're going to tell your story. While they're at it, they're going to increase your website SEO. They're going to do your social, and they're going to make sales. All you have to do, you don't have to pay this employee. All you have to do is invest about 8 to 12 hours a month into this team member. I bet every single one of us would do it, right? I know I would sign up. I would be like, hello, yes, bring them on. So the next kind of mind-blowing thing is, surprise, you already have this amazing employee team member. It's your photos. Your photos are totally capable of doing all of that. StatsCan released some statistics. 65% of the information that you are going to retain today, you required visually. You didn't retain it because you read it. You retained it because you saw it. It was either a photo or a video clip or a movie clip or something along those lines. The other thing that's really kind of scary is the average attention span is 3.2 seconds. How did they come up with that? 3.2 seconds is the average length of time it takes somebody to review the 9 bars of an Instagram feed and then scroll. That is how long you have to impress your target client. So although everybody's like, oh, I hate product photography, ooh, it's really something that you kind of need to invest in. It's not quite as scary as it seems. It's actually really kind of fun when you start to do it. So this presentation, I'm going to give you an overview. If there's any questions, I guess maybe Tiffany wouldn't mind monitoring them and throwing them out there. So let's get started on it. So the biggest thing is, what photos do I need? Oh my gosh, there's so many things I should be taking photos of. I just don't know where to go with this. And sometimes that's totally the reason why you don't start. The best way that I suggest is break down what you need into different categories. Ooh, organization. Some people will know me and go, she is not organized. In this aspect, I am. So I kind of took this little business. It's Joe makes buttons. Joe from the Button Factory. And he is our local button maker. And he doesn't know what kind of photos to take. So he really should be looking at this lineup of photos. Hook photos, product photos, behind the scenes photos, meet the maker, team photos, and social content photos. The thing is, if these are not cast in stone, if you are the product, if what you do is a service, then obviously you're not going to have team photos, but you are definitely going to have meet the maker photos, behind the scenes. Your product photos may be sort of your behind the scenes photos, but it's best to create this lineup and then on a spreadsheet. I don't do Microsoft Excel well, ew. I like Google Sheets. Google Sheets also have this wonderful capability that you can share them with anybody. So if you have a media person or you have a social media person or somebody who's really great like Tiffany at brainstorming ideas, you can share this with them and say, hey, can you kind of help me out and do this? You can also access these on your phone. So if you happen to be doing the dishes and you're like, oh, I have a great idea, you can go on your Google Sheet and throw it into this spreadsheet and it's there. Not all of these categories need to be need to have content added to them all the time. Sometimes you only have to go into that category once a year or once every 2 years. Other ones are kind of like constantly being updated. Some of the categories are also better if you outsource to a professional photographer, and that is not being a biased opinion. It's just that some of the images, some of the things are easier done. It's a lot quicker and faster. The sizing comes back right for your web page. All the steps you don't have to worry about. So you've kind of got this all set up and now you're like, I don't even know what those are. I get the product photos. I sort of get the behind the scenes. Well, let's just kind of quickly go through what they are. A hook photo. Most people are, what the heck is a hook photo? Exactly what it sounds like. Your products are out there on the internet, your photos, and they're hoping to hook a client, whether it's in your advertising, whether it's in your social media, whether it's on your web page, on your LinkedIn profile. These photos hook somebody who's interested in what you are providing. These ones are often styled to show the product or service in use or happening. Because if I'm going looking for a chicken dinner, I want to see it complete. I want to be hungry and go, yep, I'm ordering from that syrup and I'm going to buy that. Some of these hook photos can be seasonal or holiday themed. If you have an industry where your product changes based on the seasons, then you may have more than a person who doesn't. Holiday themed, so Christmas, Easter, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day. Some of these photos go out and then you take them down. They have a short life expectancy. They are styled to appeal to your target or ideal client. That itself can be a whole workshop. So I'm not going to touch on that, but everybody who's in business has probably knows or is figuring out based on your analytics who you want to go buy something. For instance, Joe in the button factory, everybody would think, hey, buttons, everybody has buttons. Not necessarily, maybe some people hate buttons. So he's not going to appeal to zipper people. Joe also makes his buttons from recycled plastic, so they cost a little bit more. So he doesn't appeal to people who want a low price point button. But he does appeal to people who are into sustainability. So even Joe and his buttons have a target client. So before you get all worried, hook photos really only need to happen every 12 to 18 months, or unless you change your product, your services, or you add a new one. Here come the dreaded product photos. Oh, the horrible ones, the ones you take and go, oh my gosh, I hate these things, I'm never doing it again. Okay, product photos are the workhorses of your stable. They are just the products. There's no props. They're taken from multiple angles, and the reason they're taken from multiple angles is because these photos need to answer questions that your potential buyer has as they're looking at the product. If Joe is asleep at 2 a.m. and Sandra works nights and she is looking for buttons at 2 a.m., if she sends Joe a message, he's not going to get it till 9 o'clock the next morning. She's already asleep. She may very well bounce to another site because she can't get the information from his site. So you want to look at these photos when you go to take them and answer some questions. How big is this? How many pieces are contained in this product? What does it look like from the side, from the top, from the bottom? If you're going to try and do sizing, for instance, I use bowls, glasses, mugs, it's best to use a ruler or a tape measure. And the reason for that is rulers and tape measures are a universal way of measuring things. A lot of people will be like, hey, it's the size of a loonie. Everybody in Canada knows what that is. Somebody in England has no idea probably how big a loonie is. So you've created a problem because they could be expecting a loonie to be this big. And then the product arrives and it's this big. And now you've got a customer who's like, well, I didn't know what a loonie was. You should have told me better. Product photos, the dreaded product photos, constantly need to be added to as a product line increases or as you get client feedback. So perhaps you have a product out there, you thought you had all the photos done that you needed, and then all of a sudden you're getting these, well, what does it look like from this side? Or how tall is it? I don't really understand. That's a really good thing to record. And the next time you're taking photos, well, those ones, just take those photos and add them back in, okay? So a behind the scenes photo, these are the problem ones. These are the ones that you're like, oh no, now I have to get in front of a camera. Yes, you do. These are you working, your team working, products being created, etc. This is especially important if you are the product. They're candid styled, so they're not super formal. And they also help create familiarity with your service. Most of the time in service-based industries, even if you've been referred by a friend, you've never been to that particular service before. So you feel a little uncomfortable, you feel a little unsure, especially now. If you were to walk into Comfort Keepers, if you could, and it was COVID, here is the beautiful Alyssa Rose smiling at us in a warm, friendly way. This is her office. Her scene also includes the outside of her building. So I know where I'm going. I'm driving down the street. I'm not sure where I'm going. Google Maps sometimes is like, you're here, and you're not, obviously. But because I know this is what Comfort Keepers building looks like, And I feel comfortable about that. I'm not stressed. You tend to be going to a service sometimes because there is already a problem or something that's happening in your life. So you want to make that this helps to make clients feel comfortable. They're also really good to throw out on your social media. Hey, did you know we're here? This is us. This is what we look like. And by putting it out on your social media, you can tag the city of Peterborough, downtown Peterborough, wherever you happen to be located. And that also fills up when somebody is searching for hashtags. Hashtag Peterborough, you're going to show up there. Once again, unless something happens, you change locations, you change how your routine works, these only have to happen every 12 to 18 months. The one that nobody wants to do, oh no, meet the maker. No one wants to do it. You have to hop in front of the camera yourself. So yes, everybody needs to go get headshots. Those are important. They're professional, they're business, they're great for a LinkedIn profile. On your social media, you want to be a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more relaxed. So these are candids. You can take them with your phone, with your camera, using a tripod. And the biggest reason for doing that is we can see it. The Chamber has done an incredible job of encouraging us and promoting shop local. And as a small business owner, I'm really grateful for that. And quite a few people may know me, but then again, there's quite a few people who don't know me. So if I put myself out there, I'm now a familiar person. People connect with me. And when you reach that connection, that helps to drive sales because that builds trust. Once again, you don't have to do these all the time. You can even throw them into your headshot sessions. You can be like, I just want maybe 6 or 7 candid ones to go along with my professional ones. This is a wonderful boss lady right here in the photo. Meet the team. Okay, so this can be similar to a behind the scenes photo, but a lot of times if you have a team, you'll be like, hey, I'm going to introduce, Sandra, she's quality control for the yellow buttons. And you just snap a photo of Sandra and there's all this background and it's kind of yucky. No, so just take a little time when you go to do that and make sure Sandra's in a nice spot. But it helps to connect who is in your team with the public. It's the same idea. Maybe people don't know you, but they might know Sandra. Like, oh my gosh, Sandra lives just down the street from me. I had no idea she worked for the Button Factory. Now they're invested in Sandra. They're invested in your Joe's Button Factory, and they want to see Joe's Button Factory succeed. It humanizes a business, and that is the biggest thing that your photos can do. It humanizes your business. Once again, pretty simple. Every 12 to 18 months or as the team changes and grows. Your last one, social content. Social content is amazing. It is fantastic. It is, I would say, 60% free advertising. It's getting a little stricter. But it's free advertising. Social media content is shot and styled specifically for social media. It tends to be an awful lot of owner shot content, although it can be pulled from all those other categories that we did. So if you are going to have a meet the team section, you can schedule that into the headshot session so that you have these photos. It can also be done for promotions, for holidays, for giveaways, for the National Day. So National Button Day would be a picture of Joe and all his buttons. Now, I know most social media people say, do it a month in advance. And that scares the friggin' crap out of me. I mean, that's super organized, but 30 days of social content is way too much. To me, that's hours and hours and hours in front of a screen. So I say create it in 14-day batches. If you're gonna pull out all the stuff, do it for 14 days. And if you only post on social media twice a week, that's actually almost 2 months worth of social media. Look, and it sounds so much better. So 14-day batches. It's super easy and it's not quite so overwhelming. All right, you've got this all figured out. You know which ones that you got to start doing. Let's do it. Your checklist. Obviously, you need a camera, which can be a smartphone or a digital camera. You need a tripod or a selfie stick or some means of stabilizing your camera. You need a room with good lighting and a reflector. That's called natural light. Or a light box and lights, which is called artificial lighting, or both, if you're lucky. You need a white background sweep. And depending what you're doing, you're going to need props, branding items, miscellaneous items. Okay, so you've got all these organized based on what you're doing. Let's do a little deep dive. The most important part, the camera. So first of all, you don't have to stress and feel that you need to go out and spend $4,000 on a camera like mine. Point and shoots are fine. Cell phones are fine. Newer smartphone, I have put in there newer smartphones, so iPhone 8, Galaxy S8. I know there's a gazillion other cell phones. Those are kind of the two most popular phones sold. The only reason I say that is because the lenses in them are better. Older phones will still work. You just may need to take more photos to make sure that the quality is good. When you have your digital camera, if you're going to use your digital camera, you'll see down here the little head. That's called the portrait mode. And basically when you put your camera on portrait mode, it does a lot of the thinking for you. It's going to focus directly into the center of the picture because focus is extremely important, especially in product photography. If you are into artistic photography or you want to get into it, that's fine, but you're going to need to lead why you're showing a blurry photo. So portrait does a lot of the thinking for you, puts the center and the focus in the middle, and the focus will slowly decline as it moves out. If you, for some reason, need to come in really close on the product, then switch over to the little flower. That's called macro. It's for close up. You might be doing this for jewelry or something like that. What happens on portrait is the camera can only focus so close to an object before it stops focusing and everything goes blurry. The macro gives you a little bit extra. If you're on your cell phone, you need to start with portrait. And I don't go too deep into this because we could spend a whole hour literally on cell phone photography and settings. The best way to do that is go on YouTube. There's some really good videos based on the phone that you have. And make sure you put in your particular phone. Just don't put in like an iPhone or you're just gonna be overwhelmed. Actually go back and figure out which phone you have. Basically, if you just want it simple, choose portrait. It's gonna focus in the center for you and do a lot of the thinking. Some people are like, oh, I have a zoom lens. Don't use it. Don't zoom in on your cell phone. When a lens zooms, it moves. And it can be a little softer focus. Everybody's been like this with their phone. Oh, I want to take that photo way over there. Let me do this, right? And you're moving your fingers like this on your cell phone. A zoom lens moves. It moves in and out, in and out. That's how it works. A cell phone lens cannot move. It's stationary. It can't go anywhere. So when you're doing this, sure, the picture on your screen is getting in closer, But what your phone is actually doing is cropping. It's cropping down and down and down and down tighter, which means that the pixels, all the little dots, are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's why some cell phone photos, although you wanted to take a photo of that thing way over there and it looked really clear on your phone when you took the photo, when you go into your pictures, it's all like blurry. It's because you cropped in so tight, the phone just took a picture. It doesn't have the capabilities to do it. So you're gonna have to move your body. You're gonna have to walk around, move back and forth. Don't use a flash. Flashes create these sudden bursts of light. So things are gonna get blown out. Colors are gonna go wonky, or you're not gonna be able to see things. If your camera wants to use a flash, you need more light. And the biggest thing is the focus. Always make sure that the center dot of your camera, when you look through, the dot's in the middle, or on your cell phone, the boxes are in the middle. Okay, tripod. We're like, I don't need a tripod. Oh yeah, you need a tripod. So tripods are used to ensure consistency. Because what you want to achieve if you're going for product photography specifically is when you go into the store part, you want it to be this nice consistent grid of photos taken from the same angle with the same kind of lighting. It looks nice, it looks neat, it looks professional. The only way to ensure that happens is with a tripod. It also happens if you have shaky hands, too much coffee, not enough coffee, something like that. Cell phones are bad for shaking because like you've got your fingers all wonky and you're trying to do this and then you shake. You're going to need this tripod for those selfies you're taking for the Meet the Maker. Because you know what happens? You basically set the cell phone up or you set the camera up and you just get over and the timer starts going and click, boom. You have this beautiful shot as it falls on the floor, right? And then you spend all this time angling it or taping it. I have a friend who tapes it to the wall with duct tape, like just buy a tripod, okay? Okay, and the best thing is when you're taking photos of your products, you can mark your tripod so you can constantly replicate where you were. Because you're not going to, most people don't have the capability to leave their setup. So you can take just a bit of nail polish and be like, okay, this is where my tripod was. You mark it, it doesn't come off. That way you can use the tripod for something else, but you can always reset it. Now you got your lighting. Okay. This is where people get a little scared. They're like, oh, artificial lighting, studio lighting, oh my gosh. True. Studio lighting can be a pain and it's big and it's expensive. But a light box is a really inexpensive option for DIY product photography. And basically what it is, it's a three-dimensional cube. So my little light box. And it can be constructed with an opaque material on the outside. It has an opening with an end and a white interior. And then what you do is you just place the product in here, and with the lights, you get clear, well-lit images with little to no shadow. It's even. And yeah, it's super, super easy. So they generally can come up with 4 different light sources. So a top light source, 2 sides, and a back. Okay. Because they're inexpensive, you can buy them on Amazon. This little guy, he's just got a little round light at the top. I don't know if you can see. That's really not enough light. You're going to get some shadowing on your product, especially if it's more than one-dimensional like the phone, if it was an ornament or something. So I would recommend that you buy at least 2 more lights. You can get them at Canadian Tire. They have a pretty cheap light for like $8.99 that just kind of sits there and it will pivot. And the more light you have, the more controlled light you have, also the better the focus that you're going to get. So I have lots of people say, well, if I put my product in here, if I put my phone in here, that's a pretty boring photo. Not only that, I'm really only like, how on earth? So I would suggest this light box has a cardboard sweep, and this is what's called a sweep. It's a white piece that goes in and it sits along and it eliminates that 90 degrees. So what I would suggest is you get little boxes, crumpled pieces of paper, margarine containers, pieces of wood, plant pots, anything that you can slide under your sweep to support your product so you can get good shots. Okay, and that way you can take it from multiple angles. If you have something that's glary with a high gloss finish, cell phone has glass in it, if I was to put it in here and turn on all the lights, you're gonna see the glare on the glass of the phone. Move the lights away. So as the lights move away, their focal point spreads. It's going to be less glary on your product. The only thing is you may need to get another couple of lights because as you move it farther away, obviously, it's going to be less lights. You can make a light box, but oh my goodness, they're like 30 bucks on Amazon and they come to your door. They're kind of really cheap. They come set up, they come with carry cases, they come with the sweeps. The thing is, they come with all these beautiful colored sweeps, but unless your product is white or a light color, only use the white sweep. If your product's white or like a pale yellow, pale pink, use the black sweep. If you decide, oh, that's such a pretty color of blue, I'm gonna photograph everything on the blue. What happens to your light colored items? They tinge blue. The minute the light goes on them, they pick up the tinge from the other color. So although they're fun, you know, maybe for Christmas, throw in the red one or something, you have to be very mindful of that. Okay, so that's light boxes. You just plug them in. They're not scary at all. They're actually kind of fun. If you're not into light box or you have a product that's way too big, like there is no way you're fitting a shirt in that light box. And the average light box can be probably, I think I've seen them up to 4 feet by 4 feet. And then they start to get really cumbersome and awkward and they don't work really well. You can select natural lighting, which everybody has. All you need is a chair, some white paper or a white sheet, and a window. So go around your business or your home and assess the lighting. You want an overall bright room, but you don't want a glaring bright room. People are like, I got a south facing room, that's perfect. No, that's not, because if you plop your chair right in the sun, that's the equivalent of turning a spotlight on your product. So you want the room to be bright, but you don't want it right direct sun. You need a sturdy chair or something that's big enough to put your product on, close to the window, but not right up beside it, so about 2 feet away. And then you just literally drape the chair with your white, either your white piece of paper, craft paper. Michaels sells it. I believe the business stores sell it. Yeah, dollar stores sometimes sell it. Or you can use a white sheet. Just make sure it's been ironed or it's polyester so that there's no wrinkles in it. The big thing is make sure that it's at least 50% bigger than your item. This bottom here, see how the teddy bear is pretty much almost the size of the sweep? That would be very challenging to take a photo of because you would have to be very close to the teddy bear all the time. Otherwise, you're going to get the edges, right? You're going to get here and here. So this little teddy bear should actually have been on a bigger sweep. So you can just take a step back and not have to worry about what's behind you. Because you're using natural light from a window, you are going to need to put a piece of white cardboard on the other side of the chair. So over here. And that bounces the natural light back onto the non-window side of your product. Be very careful. Once again, same thing, different angles. So you can use crumpled paper, you can use boxes, flower pots, Tupperware containers, bowls, glasses, whatever you need to slide underneath and just kind of let the sweep fall around. The biggest thing that you have to be really mindful of is as you're moving or trying to get these photos, don't cast a shadow on your item. Your body can get in the light source and start catching it. Once again, same thing. Unless your item is white or light colored, use a white sheet. If not, if it's those colors, use a black sheet. If you have clothing, you're like mannequins or whatever, you can pin it up on the wall. You get a white sheet or white curtains, blackout curtains that are white, pin them up on the wall and then stretch it down, but don't let it go like this. Pull it out so it's always, and that's where the sweep idea comes from. So it tricks the camera's eye into losing the back. So it looks like everything is kind of floating, and that's what you want. So just some general tips. Don't use props for product photos. Product photos have one job. They're selling your product or your service. Don't use props. Use props for everything else, but not for those. When you have your setup, you get everything all set up and you're like, yes, it's working good. If you're like me, you would be like, I take it down and can never do it again. Well, the last time I was sure I had it here. Wait a minute, maybe I had it. Oh crap, I had it there. So just get some extra white paper, put it under your setup. Put your setup on top, mark it. Fold that piece of paper back up and put it away with your setup. A month later, back you come. You unroll the paper, lay it out flat, and everything goes back in its spot that you marked. And look at that. You're now replicating everything again. Super easy. And it would have saved me a lot of frustration if I had thought of that, you know, a long time ago before I had done a whole bunch of stuff and got frustrated. When doing candid team photos, which happens, right? You want to be like, hey, let's do these. We're campaigning for this. Let's take photos. Oh, it's National Button Day. And a lot of times we just like, hey, everybody get together. And everybody gets together and you have a pot growing out of Sally's head, right? And you have this really weird hand that's kind of hanging over here in Jello's ear. And you're like, oh my gosh, we can't post that. So when you go to do candid team photos, it's great to have a background of your business, but do a little visual check. It's back to that, every photo's worth 1,000 words. If you don't take the time to just be like, yeah, this is a good spot. There's no banners, there's no pots. We'll just make sure everybody's hands are where they're supposed to be so we don't have floaty hands or missing arms, dead arms, missing legs. That shows that, first of all, to the person looking at it, that's a business. You've taken care, even though this is a fun photo, it's a well put together, responsible, cared about business. And it's simple. Not sure how to get people to stand together? Don't do this. This is the worst thing forever. Especially if any of your team is wearing suit coats, because men or women instantly go button. So they button, right? Or you tuck your shirt in and then you go like this, and this can't give. So it goes like this. And then everybody looks like their Uncle Buck wearing a too small coat. It doesn't work. You can have people move their arms, but like this. Make sure the arms are visible. Hands in pockets, okay? There was a thing a while ago, and it's still done sometimes. It's called the gun. And so people would stick all their hands except these two fingers into their pockets. So you would have like this really weird way, everybody had like little sticky up guns. I don't know where the idea came from, but it looks ridiculous. if you're gonna have people stick their hands in their pockets, if they stick their whole hand in their pocket, they now are handless. So that looks weird. Just have them have their thumbs come out. Okay, just thumbs. Because they still have hands, they don't have guns, and they don't have the awkward, what do I do with my hands problem? Right? They give their hands something to do. Anytime you go to take a photo of people, of product, of things happening, always double check your background. Always remove the clutter. Okay? Always, 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 always. Always. You would be surprised what a camera can pick up. There was a photo on the internet. It was about a year ago. It was this beautiful shot of a cafe. The owner came in, his baristas were working, the cafe was lovely, the products were there. He took a photo, posted it on the internet, on his social media. Everybody should come down. I'm so proud of my team. Look at what they've done. And when you zoomed in, on the counter was a Starbucks cup. Because everything lives forever on the internet, even though that photo came down, enough people grabbed it as a, this is what you don't do, that it still lives forever. Now, I'm sure if that was a smart business owner, they would have pivoted, they would have reached out to Starbucks and said, hey, this is what's happened, let's do something. But you don't want that to happen, because if it's in there and it shouldn't be, or it's awkward, or it's embarrassing, it's gonna show up. When you're, and I've mentioned this before, but it's a huge thing, when demonstrating size, use a ruler or a tape measure. That is one of the biggest things that will lose you customers and create customer problems. I rent items for some of my photo shoots. And the biggest thing that turns me off is I go to a site and they'll be like medium, UK. That's great. I'm in Canada. I don't know what a UK medium is. I would have to go Google that and guess that that is the size that they're talking about. It's like I said, if you say it's the size of a loonie and somebody in the UK buys it and they're expecting a loonie to be this big because I've never seen one before and it shows up and it's this big, they're going to have a problem. They're going to be upset. Your customers are going to be upset. So tape measures, rulers, that's the easiest way. Everybody knows what inches or millimeters are. It's pretty universal. Okay, you did it. You took the photos. Yes. Now what do I do with them? Because I don't know what I should be doing. Oh boy. Okay. Don't over edit your images. That's a huge one. Do not do that. Do not apply color filters to your images. Some of your photos, if you have a professional photographer come in, they may use filters. I use filters. But I also, you have chosen that photographer because you like their work, which means their filter aligns with your brand. I'm not saying that my filter's right and other photographers is wrong. It's not. It's all a personal preference. It's all a personal choice. But if your brand is very simple, very clean, very neat, you may not want to use a photographer unless they're willing to change their filter for somebody who's a highly saturated filter. So where the colors may be extremely vibrant, because your images are going to go up and they're going to be completely contrasty to what your brand looks like. It's the same thing when you go to do it. Oh, the blue is so pretty. And now you have royal blue that, you know, players would love. They're like, hey, can we borrow that blue? No, it doesn't match with your brand. Try and keep your colors as natural as possible. There are free editing programs online. So there's PicMonkey, there's Snapseed, there's VSCO, there's BeFunky. They're going to do basic editing. They're gonna tweak your light out a little bit. Oh, there was a speck of dust. We can clone that out. Oh, my image is a little crooked. I need to straighten it. They're gonna do all that. You can also ask your photographer, hey, what do you use for my images? If you're that worried about making consistency, then they can help you to get so that your images match theirs. Biggest thing, how many have gone to a web page and you're like, why are you not loading? And the little circle of death's going and it's going and you're like, really? Come on now. Holy God. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. And you're gone. 90% of the time, it's because the images are way too big. Go on to your website and see what your website recommends. Every WordPress, Squarespace, all those ones, they do have recommended sizing. And you can resize your images for faster loading in your editing program. Right off the bat, here's a gift. Instagram wants your photos 1080 pixels by 1350. Size them that way and you will never get the little box that says, I'm sorry, this photo does not work with Instagram. You need to change it. Because I get it. And I'm like, I'm going to kill you, Instagram. Because you've written this great big thing. And now it's like, really? Oh, so resize them before you pull them out to use them. Here's a tip. Remember how I said your photos are going to help with your SEO? They are. Google and the machines that churn out our internet, they are content-based. They're like words. They don't see very well. And the more words they ingest, the faster they learn, the more they learn about us. They can see images, but they don't really like them. So what you have to do is make your images Google friendly. So Google will want to ingest them and use them. And the more they use them, the higher your SEO goes, because the more people are going to be clicking. And then the more people that click is the more possibility of sales. And the more possibility of sales is the more products. And it's just this really great thing. And it's super easy to start, because all you do is you rename your images to include your company name and what the image is. So easy, right? Instead of image 7064472436660, which nobody is ever going to search for, we renamed it to Joe's Button Factory. Medium-sized yellow button. Peterborough, Ontario. Guess what? Joe's picture of his yellow button is now searchable for Joe's Button Factory. Button Factory, Peterborough, Ontario. Yellow button, medium yellow button. You get the idea. It goes on and on and on. So simple, so easy to do. So we're almost done. The only other thing I have to add is when you upload to your web page, there's a section called alt text. That description that you just put in for your image, put it in there. Alt text was originally designed for visually impaired individuals, so Google could read to them what is showing. But Google is reading it, so therefore Google search engines use it. So then it's also a searchable commodity. Just don't stuff it. And that, because Google doesn't like it when you stuff things. So Joe's yellow button is great. Joe's sunshine, yellow, daffodil, yellow raincoat, medium, small to medium, large, single hole, double hole, button, fastener is not right. Google will be like, gack, that's spam, and that's a no. So I hope that I have helped just a little bit. I am offering a workshop, photography workshop. It's going to be 8 weeks. It's 2 hours a time. It's small group. We're going to work through shooting something that you want to shoot. So it's going to give you the tools that you can take back and then apply to different things. We're also going to delve into a bit of SEO and how that works. And we're also going to be able to work with one another. So you can brainstorm for your group members and kind of help give some guidance. It's $425, but I'm offering today 20% discount to all attendees if you want to send me an email. So I want to thank everybody so much for being here and having me. I hope that I helped a little bit. Thank you. Stop sharing. Here we go.
Excellent, Heather. Excellent. I was making notes. I always learn things in social media conversations. It seems like no matter where you're touching, there is always something to learn, and you dropped a lot of knowledge during that. So thank you. Thank
You're
you
welcome.
so much. I'm definitely going to be watching the playback. I definitely need to improve my alt text on Instagram. I know it's been on my list, and I got to get there. So I appreciate the push. We appreciate you, Heather. Reach out to Heather. She's got that course going on, Heather Dowdy Photography. Follow her, Facebook, Instagram, you name it. Again, Peterborough and the Peterborough Chamber of Commerce and Peterborough and the Kawarthas Economic Development have come together to bring you the Business Summit. All of the live events that we hosted throughout the week have been recorded. They're accessible on the Business Summit page. Coming up in an hour and 10 minutes is a networking tournament. Hopefully, I'll see all of you there. It'll be a lot of fun. We do one-on-one, and we have you out on time. That being said, thank you to our sponsors, the Business Development Bank of Canada, Microwage, Peterborough Whitby, and Nexicom, who have enabled us to provide the Business Summit access for free. Watch the recorded episodes. If you have any questions, reach out to us. Heather Dowdy, thank you so much for today. We are grateful for your big brain and your wonderful energy and your excellent tips. Have a great day, everyone. I'll see you in about an hour at the networking tournament.
Bye.